on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get up, get on up, get up, get on up. Stay on the scene, get on up like a sex machine. Get on up, get up, get on up, get up, get on up. Stay on the scene.
Now joining us in the studio is Natasha Brown from the Ethnic Minorities Campaign to tell us a little bit more about Black History Month. Hiya.
Hiya.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
What's the purpose of Black History Month to you?
The purpose of Black History Month, right. So what it is when you look at textbooks or history books or anything like that, often it's portrayed as the heroes of the world and the inventors of the world were all white and probably white men. So someone a long time ago said, actually, we need people to know about Black history as well and ethnic minority history. And so they created, initially it was a week, now it's a month where Black people can explore their history and people can take part and understand Black history as well. So that's kind of the purpose of it.
Okay.
So what's the campaign doing to raise awareness of Black History Month around the uni and around the area?
Well, it's been a really, really good month. The campaign have put on numerous events, including debates, which we're talking about kind of racism in education and in employment and raising self-esteem and how to kind of go forth and conquer, if you like. We've done film screenings of Malcolm X and had discussions about Islamophobia, which is just so prevalent at the moment. We've done forums for ethnic minority women, because often it's quite difficult to talk about ethnic minority issues as a whole with kind of men and women. So we've held events that were exclusively just for women to talk about our issues, self-esteem and beauty and representations of Black people and Black women in particular in the media, stereotypes. What else have we done? We've done quite a bit, but I think this is probably the best one. That's hopefully going to get everyone together and everyone excited, and it's all for a good cause.
Brilliant. Do you think Black History Month has its detractors? So I think Morgan Freeman's been recorded saying that to limit this sort of Black history to a month, that's not that great, to be honest. But what do you feel? What's your response to that?
I think absolutely. I mean, I completely understand the frustration of Black History Month being just a month. Especially in the kind of society we live in now, it seems a bit odd that we would reduce it to a month. I think back when it was set up, it was a lot more important and a lot more prevalent. But for now, while it's still here, there are the pros and there are the cons, and we could kind of sit here all day and talk about it. But while it is here, it's just so important to really raise awareness, really get some action, and put on great events like the one tonight.
Definitely, yeah. Brilliant.
Well, thank you for coming in, Natasha.
Thank you for having me.
Now that we've learnt more about the campaign, a big issue it has to tackle is racism, specifically out there on the football pitch. And now here's a little video to tell us more about that.
Chelsea defender John Terry.
John Terry is considering whether to appeal after being banned for 4 games for using racist language towards Anton Ferdinand.
Just a few words uttered out of the mouth of John Terry back in October last year was all it took for himself to earn a 4-match ban from Chelsea and a fine of £220,000. But is a short holiday from work and 10 days missing pay really a punishment for the ex-England captain? Are we doing enough to discourage racism from the sport, or just letting our sporting role models set an unwelcome example? Racism isn't bound to the pitches of Britain though. Take a short look back at the events of last week, where this time we were under attack.
There are fans on the pitch, substitutes getting involved as well, very unseemly scenes.
They're just attacking anybody who's wearing an England badge. It's totally out of order.
As we've just seen, racism is still a very tricky issue in football. To talk us more through this is Matt Harris, Sports Vice President. Thank you very much for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
Now, what's been done to try and eradicate racism from sport, and football in particular?
I think over the years, I think clubs have tried to stamp out themselves. There's never been a separate body like you see nowadays with Kick It Out and Show Racism Red Card, the campaigns that are running at the moment. I think clubs have always tried to keep it internal and at best try and say that it's not happening. We've seen recently Sepp Blatter claim there's no racism in football whatsoever, and that's coming from the FIFA president. But I think now with certain events that have happened in the last 12 to 18 months, it's now become a lot more of a prominent issue. For something that was, in my opinion, swept under the carpet, has now resurfaced and it needs addressing.
Definitely. Who do you think is the guiltiest party or player in this whole racism issue? Is it the fans? Is it FIFA?
I think the fans in the kind of almost riot culture in sort of the 70s and 80s. I think that almost kicked off events. I mean, obviously that was before my time, but from things that I've read and things that I've seen, I think they have a massive part to play in it, and it still is the case today. There's a lot of fights in between fans. You know, people go to the games to have fights and to abuse opposition. You know, I've been at games where, you know, you've heard insults thrown at players that then go and play for your country, and you kind of think 2 or 3 weeks' time you're going to be supporting that player. You know, it's something that I've never really been able to grasp.
With racism being such a big issue in the media, do you think that it's a positive that it's being put so much to the fore, that we're seeing it so much, that when there's ever just one instance, such as Serbia last week, whenever just one instant of it, it's brought so much to the media's attention? Do you think that's a good thing, or does it show that racism's still rife in sport?
I think it is good that it's brought up. Obviously, it's bad that it's so apparent it's still happening, and people seem to still say that it's not an issue when clearly it is. I mean, numerous people are saying that it's still an issue, and it is obvious. But at the moment, I think it is the fact, ever since the Suarez and Evra saga, then followed up quickly by John Terry and Anton Ferdinand. I think, you know, anything now is just going to come straight to the surface, straight to the boil, very, very, very quickly. And it's something that maybe wouldn't have happened if it wasn't down to Suarez in the first place. That I think Suarez actually. I think he got away with it in the sense that people seem to focus very quickly on the 8-match ban that is obviously unprecedented by the FA. It's never something that's been done before, and the focus was on that, which I found quite surprising. The £40,000 fine, which was a third of his weekly wages as well, was slightly ridiculous. But I think that was swept under the carpet very, very quickly. I think the FA sort of, you know, in my own opinion, you know, swept their brow a bit thankfully. But then, with the John Terry issue, it brought everything back to the top, and it has evolved very, very quickly. And obviously that then included the CPS with that, and a police investigation for the first time. I think so, for the first time. I think then from that point, anything now is just going to keep coming round and round again very, very quickly, and it's going to keep coming up.
So that's what's happening on the pitch. What about up in the stands? What can we as fans do to try and get this out of our game? Because it's our game. It's not the bigots and the racists.
Absolutely.
It's me who's paying to go to match football.
You know, I think you can argue and say it is a minority. It's certainly in England. I think it's a minority. Sort of leaving the Eastern Europeans aside without naming countries, but something that was quite evident from the Euros over the summer. But I think, you know, hefty bans need to be issued. Hefty, but we're talking like lifetime bans from any supporters that are hurling abuse, even throwing missiles. I mean, I'm sure you would have seen the guy that attacked Chris Kirkland at the Leeds game a couple of days ago. He's been sentenced now for 6 months, I think, or 4 months, which, you know, I'll put him away for a lot longer than that and ban. I think he's already had 4 bans from games that he's just gone and taken no notice of. So it's clearly not working. So I think it is a case of upping the bans, upping the fines, you know, really taking a vigilant stance instead of just giving mediocre punishments. For instance, you know, Luis Suarez, £40,000, which is a third of his wages. John Terry, he earned his fine that he spent. The fine that he paid in 11 days. I can't think, you know, is that really going to mean anything to those sort of people? Whereas, you know, you take away football for life from someone, that is, or for a significant amount of years, that is really something. I think that's the only way forward.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for your
country
and opinions. And now we're going to leave you in the capable hands of CSR's commentators for the match, Dan and Will.
The idea of this whole game, this whole situation, because we wouldn't be here if it hadn't been because of this, but this is the perfect opportunity for us to join together as a university and a sporting community to support a great idea and show that we are a modern cosmopolitan community.
There we go. So
Ball kicks off. Take a turn, hassled by ACS, played out wide onto the right. Taken back inside, number 4 on the ball, takes the touch.
Back here, trying to set up a shot, couldn't find it, he's out to the right.
Out wide, and takes a shot. Oh! Ball went out wide onto the right, he took a little touch and then had a little dig with his right foot that just dipped over the goalkeeper. Very, very, very good goal. 1-0 to Kent FC?
Yes, 1-0 to Kent.
And the ball goes for a tackle. Kent FC throw-in. Just taken quickly inside, taken down. Bad touch, robbed by ACS, who are running forward now.
They can break here. It's 3-on-2.
ET's been done.
Odom in the ball.
2-on-1. Played inside.
Who can do in the middle? He shoots. Oh, great. Another one-handed save, high to his left. And it just looked from this angle that it was going to go right over him, but he got a strong hand up to it. And Lukandu looking pretty strong in the middle with Uwawa on his right, Odom on his left.
And there has the half-time whistle has just gone.
So at half-time, the scoreline was 1-0 to Kent FC after that fantastic goal in the 25th minute, chipping the ball right over the goalkeeper's head. And just minutes after the whistle blew for the second half, Kent FC popped yet another into the back of the net, making it 2-0 for now. Time now, though, to rejoin the action with your commentators from CSR. It's Will and Dan.
Play through, what a great ball. Oh, that is a great save by the ACS goalkeeper.
Touched it round the post.
You can hear the crowd. They were very, very happy to see that go wide.
Crossed from the right by Stan Evans and headed in the middle. 3-0 now to Kent. It's 1-on-1 and it's buried. Bottom right.
Great little finish by Connor there. I think 4-0 reflects... the result reflects the performances today.
Yeah.
So, Tommy, you were coaching tonight.
Yeah.
A good 4-0 win. How do you think it went, the whole game?
No, I mean, the first half was pretty even, and you can tell that because we brought 11 new players on, the ACS tied out a little bit. So,
yeah.
I mean, we brought loads of fresh legs on, some decent players come on, and they showed why they're uni players. They've had that little bit more quality in them.
So, what do you think of the ACS team? Because I think they played a decent
I thought
team.
First half it was pretty even. I mean, we was lucky to be 1-0 up. I mean, a draw would have been a fair result at half time. It's only because our lads have been training a little bit fitter, a little bit sharper, and just got a little bit more quality around the box. But I thought that was a good outfit.
So that was a great match, and here in the studio we now have 3 lovely gentlemen. We have Alex from Inquire, the sports editor, Tom from KTV, who's head of sport as well, and Will from the Saturday Sports Show on CSR. So boys, how do you think the overall game went?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
From a commentary point of view, watching out onto it is a lot different from just watching it as a spectator. It ended 4-0 to Kent, but I think the boys from the Afro-Caribbean Society, they did themselves proud out there, and they weren't just spectators, they played their part.
Yeah, it was a good effort. What about you guys?
Well, I think the ACS keeper, he kept them in it. He kept the score semi-respectable. And they had a good game. They held on to first half, and then second half they sort of let the goals in a bit more, but it was all-round good effort from everyone.
Was 4-0 really respective of how the match went?
I would say so. I would say that 4 goals. I'd say if it wasn't for ACS keeper, they would have had a lot more gone past him. He had a top game today.
Well, the first goal was cracking.
Yeah, it was. It was like just 25 yards out, just curled it in. That's what you sort of expect. That's what you expected when we came to see Kent FC. You thought they'd put in a few more like that, really.
The problem with the sort of the difference in class between the Kent boys and the ACS was Kent were playing with 2 different 11s. So when they came out for the second half, it was as if they were starting afresh. Maybe that's why they could kick on and get those 3 more goals. But
Tom, what do you think? Do you think that the fatigue got to the ACS guys?
Yeah, I think they defended pretty well for the first half, but again, like I say, after on the second half, the new team came out. They really had the legs to get past them and put through balls, and they could run past them quite easily.
Do you think the players responded positively to each other? They interacted well?
Yeah, definitely. It was quite a fair game. There was no really nasty tackles, and it was quite a wet surface as well, so that's easily done in games like this. But they created a lot of good chances, and it was a good game to watch.
Yeah, they kept it competitive. So that's what, even though it's a friendly and it's for a good cause, you want to see some kind of grit from both teams, and they definitely kept in it with competitiveness. And
it's good that you mentioned the cause. It's a nice sort of segue into the whole event in total. Do you think that the night as a whole went down well?
Yeah, it was a great turnout. The balcony was full up here. it was, and as you say, for a cause like that, you want to have a good turnout, especially for the charity, sort of get some money.
And on a night like this, with sort of like, it's been foggy all day, it's been a bit rainy, a bit dreary, and to have so many people there stacking like 4 or 5 deep up there and more inside, and the support down on the touchline by the other team members was just fantastic, and it's good to see that.
Well, we mentioned it earlier, but this was all to do with Black History Month, and especially in football recently there's been a lot of issues with racism. The John Terry saga has been finally ended, and in Serbia last week, and it's all seemed to be bubbling up at the moment. What do you guys think about it at the moment?
Yeah, I think the organisations really need to take a lot stronger action. I think 4-game ban for John Terry and £250,000 fine. I think that works out to 10 days worth of wages for him, which essentially is nothing to a football player. I think there need to be a lot heavier restrictions, and that is shown by a lot of the black players that have dropped out of Kick It Out. They have refused to wear the T-shirts. And also in Serbia as well, we need to see some strict sanctions on the Serbian team as well, I think.
The Serbian team, it was an under-21 Euro qualifier, and if that sort of behaviour is going to be at an under-21 match, let alone like a full international match, it's sort of you wonder what sort of influence the world of football, sort of with black players in general, is having on younger players and younger spectators.
Unless they are banned for at least one tournament, I don't think there's going to be much further action. I think people lose patience with it.
Well, Alex, what do you think of, it was previously mentioned, the players not wearing the Kick It Out T-shirt last week. What do you think of that, and do you think that they're inevitably bringing more attention to it by not supporting the cause? What do you think?
Well, you need to make stands like that in order to try and create a fundamental shift in the way things are going, because it's not working whatever they are doing with regards to charities, so they need to do something, and maybe, you know, making a stand by not wearing the T-shirts is necessary, but we'll have to see. It's definitely giving it more attention, and that's never a bad thing.
Do you think there are enough events like today's game? Do you think there should be more, because it is only Black History Month, should there be stuff going on throughout the year? In Inquire, you say is there articles each week?
Well, we've been speaking a lot about the racism that's in football at the moment because of how prevalent it has been. But with regards to the general awareness, I do think it needs to be advertised more and publicised more. But and maybe there needs to be more events. Certainly on the campus, I can imagine they need to be able to do more to try and generate some kind of, you know, more people getting involved with regards to.
I think there'll certainly be a desire for it. I mean, with so many cultures and so many ethnic backgrounds on the campus, that events like this, it's just sort of a very small percentage of people, and who knows, we could have other events in the future, and I mean, I'd certainly support it. I mean, everyone would support it after what we've seen tonight.
On that, what do you think we can do as a uni, as a community, to help further awareness of not only racism towards black people in Black History Month, but just in general, and issues of that nature?
Yeah, I think racism often stems from ignorance. I think if there was more integration and more mixes between communities, then, you know, it would definitely help out a lot.
Well, thank you to Alex, Tom and Will for coming in. I know it's been a bit of a foggy night out here, but hopefully our cameras haven't missed any of the action.
So it's been a 4-0 win to Kent FC today, and thank you guys for coming down. It's been great having you in and hearing what you've got to say. But I think we can all agree that it's been 1-0 to equality and racial awareness.
Get on up, get up, get on up. You said the feeling.